Hello everyone, this is LaToya of Infinitenature and I am back with a new video. So today I wanted to talk about the North Node and the importance of knowing it for our lives. And I love astrology and I love learning so much about it. There are so many levels to astrology. There are different types of astrology, and it's just exciting to learn more and more about how to analyze my own personal chart. I think it's so important to know your chart and to know how it has influenced how your day of birth, your exact time of birth has influenced your life and the choices that you make now. It can really benefit you and benefit how you connect with people around you. That's why I was so interested in astrology, because it helped me, learning more about myself helped me to understand the people around me, the people that are close to me, the people that I value, that are close to my heart. It helps me understand them better when I know their chart and the breakdown of that. And sometimes anybody who has a passion for astrology, sometimes you become so used to learning so much that sometimes you can pick up the energies of people and you can tell that they have certain aspects in their chart just from observation. Not saying that it's always accurate, but once you start like studying your own self, it kind of helps you kind of read other people in a way. But I know that a lot of people don't believe in astrology, but a lot of it I think has to do with horoscopes. And to me, it's not about horoscopes. It's about like literally figuring out what your chart is. And you're more than just your sun sign. We all are multifaceted beings with different aspects of ourselves. And a lot of times we are mirroring each other anyway. But I feel like it's a valuable tool to understand yourself and to understand how to allow the stars to guide you in your life. But I wanted to share what the North Node is pretty much about. I've learned more about the North Node through reading different books. And the North Node, to me, when I think about it, based upon the things that I've learned and how I related to reflecting on my own personal North Node, is that it is a karmic. It's very karmic, and it pretty much represents what you are supposed to become and encompass in this lifetime, your North Node. Your South Node gives you insight on what you may have been in a past life and how you're supposed to move out of that energy field into your North Node. And I'm gonna show you something that I bought. It's called Astrology for the Soul. This specifically talks about the North Node. It's by Jan Spiller, if you want to get it. It's for the first time ever, a professional astrologer reveals the secret of her astoundingly accurate and spiritually valuable astrological readings. And I want to read to you exactly what she has as the nodes. The nodes of the moon are not planetary bodies. They are points formed by the moon's orbit around the sun, intersecting with the Earth's path around the sun. The direction of the nodes are counterclockwise. The North Node is the ascending node, the point closest to our North Pole, and the South Node is the descending node, the point closest to our South Pole. They are always exactly 180 degrees apart. Some astrologers use the true node calculation, which takes into account the actual wobbling of the moon's orbit, and some astrologers use the mean node, which does not take the wobbling into account. I use the true nodes. The true nodes and the mean nodes positions are never more than 1 degree 45 minutes apart from each other. And the nodal axis. All planets have a north and south node. The nodes covered in this book are the north and south nodes of the moon, also known as the nodal axis of the chart. The information in the chapters is actually a description of the northern and southern nodal axis. Although, for the sake of simplicity, I simply called it North Node position. The South Node position of the chart, located at the point exactly opposite of the North Node depicts an aspect of our character that has been overemphasized. That's in past lives. So that's what I was talking about when I said the South Node normally is what we were in a past life. And the goal here is to shift out of that into the North Node, which is what we're supposed to express in this lifetime, which can be very challenging, especially when I talk about mine in particular. So, like I said before, when I was reading this, it says depicts an aspect in our character that has been overemphasized in past lives and thus tends to take over the personality in this lifetime and throw us off balance. When we are acting without awareness, we tend to act out the South Node position in response to our environment because we have been accustomed to that approach working to our advantage. However, in this lifetime, our experiences show us that approaching a situation from the stance shown by the position of the South Node in our chart is no longer working. Although the main emphasis in this book is on the North Node, the information in these chapters are actually an integration of both ends of the nodal axis. That's all I'm going to read from there. But I didn't realize it, but I was in a personal development program, and of course they had our birthdays, and I already knew about the North Node because of this book, New Moon Astrology, also by James Fleur. In this book, it talks about, what to wish for the new moons, and it has each of the zodiac signs. Like, for example, what to wish for when the new moon is in Cancer. So, bam, you have that. But they also have the North Node. They have things on the North Node. For example, they have Taurus North Node people, and North Node in the second house. So in this, they talk about specific things that North Node Taurus, which is mine, I'm a North Node Taurus, but it talks about the things that we are developing, what we're working on in this lifetime. And so they talk about it. Jan Spiller talks about it in this book. So that's one of the ways that I began to learn more about the North Node and how accurate it was. It was quite interesting. So when I was in this personal development program, they printed out our North Nodes from this book. And I was just like, ooh, I love this. It was like how detailed it was. It was just like, it was just so freaking amazing. I was just like, this is so freaking accurate for me. It's just like, whoa, like, wow. Like, I was just like, oh my goodness. And I'm looking down because I'm looking for mine. I want to put it on the page so that when I talk about it, I can have it already open. And I found it. I'm just going to the beginning. But it was just like, oh my gosh. It was just so accurate for me. So yeah. But before I had both of these books, I believe, or I might have gotten the New Moon book around the same time that I got this particular book that I'm about to show you. And I have a YouTube video that's like back in 2015, 2016, talking about the Way of Grace, which is, well, actually the name of the book, I'm jumping ahead of myself. The name of the book is The Secret Language of Destiny. I got this used, man. This big old book. I got it for $10. But The Secret Language of Destiny, and personology guide to finding your life purpose. From the author of The Secret Language of Birthdays. I want to get all of the books that he has. He has like big books like this on different things. And it's by Gary Goldschneider and Juice Effers. But there we go. Here it is. But it took me some years to realize that what influenced the authors in this book is the North and South Node. Mine is the Way of Grace. It says, Scorpio to Taurus, depth to teacher. Scorpio is my south node. Taurus is my north node, which is quite interesting how it says from depth to teacher. It's just, to me, it makes complete sense. It says, for me, core lesson, detaching emotionally when times get tough, to develop ease of living and movement, culture and elegance. My gifts, steadfast, magnetic and fair, pitfalls, depressed, prone to worry, and inflexible. To release the need to hide. That is so accurate for me. Oh my goodness, it's just... And then it says, reward the joy of rising above it all. You know, and the story that they use in this is like the ugly duckling, which I think is so accurately. I'm gonna read you the paragraph in regards to that. Reflecting on this karmic path reminds one of the children's fairy tale, The Ugly Duckling. A young swan, mistaken for a young duck, is ridiculed by the other ducks as a misfit and labeled ugly. It is only with time that the duckling emerges as a full-grown swan, considered the most elegant and graceful of all waterfowl. I was just like, whoa. And in this book, I love is that they give you the crystals and gemstones for your particular path, whatever is based upon your birthday, your birth date. And they even have it. They have it broken down. You know, they have it broken down depending on which part of the month you were born. Mine is a couple of pages later. It has all. Oh, mine is exposure. Leo, Virgo, cusp. I'm a cusper. I don't know if you can, excuse me if you cannot see it, but I'm a Leo, Virgo, cusp. Mine is called exposure. Overcoming their tendencies to introversion may prove a challenge for those born in this week who travel the way of grace, yet they can realize a rich and ultimately rewarding passage here. Gifted with keen evaluative instincts and a strongly emotional nature, they may take a backseat early in life, only to emerge as flamboyant and inspiring role models later on. Likely to meet almost any trial or personal setback with real objectivity, they will still have to work on their tendency to employ their great insight as purely manipulative tool. Learning to trust themselves will be especially important here as well. The outlook is good for the souls along this road as stepped into a developing sense of culture, education, serenity, and no trouble at all. Challenge, transforming themselves into extroverts. This is so freaking accurate. I am a true introvert. My personality type is an INFJ. This is so accurate. I've talked about this in my Sacred Contracts book reviews. I have several videos on that, because that book is very interactive. So I really go and break it down, my experiences of delving deep into that book. But one of the things that I talk about is hiding. And I'm a true introvert. But it says the challenge is stepping outside of that and really, you know, connecting with the world and not being so caught up in being within. Because you can get caught up in your own world when you are an introvert, okay? The fulfillment they have here is adopting a more colorful, elegant style. Notables are Bret Hart, writer of Stories of Old West, Alfred Lunt, stage actor Peter Thompson, golfer. I don't know none of these people, but they do have the celebrities. They have like celebrities like, Felicia Rashad from the Cosby Show. She is also has the way of grace, but she's a Cancer, so hers is the empath, and it has a description of what that entails. But I love this after learning more about the North Node. And then I was like, and then it clicked to me like, hold on. That's why this book had my my path, the way of grace, as Scorpio to Taurus, because my Taurus is in my North Node is in Taurus. I was like, oh, that makes sense. That's why I'm into the things that I'm into. That's why I'm big on connecting with the earth, connecting with the land. I like to prepare meals. That's very Taurian energy, you know, material, like instead of being so much in your head, like Scorpio is about power struggles, and Scorpio likes to be in control, and Scorpio is very transformative energy, you know, and Scorpion energy is very intuitive, very, you know, into the occult energy type vibe. And I can see that because I'm into that type of stuff, but I also can see how that you can be very to yourself, very like really strong energy, like very deep, powerful energy. It can be very intense. I'll say that. Anybody that knows any Scorpios or have a lot of Scorpion energy in your own chart, you know that that energy can be very intense energy. And I used to date a Scorpio for like almost 6 years, so I know that, you know, I have a Virgo now. Way more better for me as a fire sign, have something grounded, but it's very deep and intense energy. And I just thought it was very interesting. I'm looking down because I'm reading this. The core lesson is detaching emotionally when things get tough, when times get tough. And it's very important because you feel a lot of things when you have this path. And you're very sensitive to your surroundings. So it's like important for the space. I don't know, I can't speak for anybody else, but I know for me, I'm very sensitive to my surroundings. It has to look a certain way. If there's too much clutter, too much junk, I get, you know, antsy. I naturally like to have my space a certain way, and there's times where your space may not be exactly the way you want it to be, you know, so I know that's for me. It's not exactly the way that I would want it to be arranged, just because it's just the way that the layout may be, you know what I'm saying? But you can feel that. It's like when something is off in your room or whatever, you can just feel it, but you can feel when it's like flowing easily or whatever. That's very important for me. But I feel like I'm jumping around, but I wanted to get back because Taurus and North Node, I'm reading from this book. This is a new moon book that talks about the North Node. It says, Taurus North Node people are developing awareness of their own needs and building a sense of self-worth, which is very accurate. Taurus North Node people overcoming their dependence on validation from others. Yep. And Taurus North Node people are learning to handle money and develop gratitude. Yep. Taurus North Node people are learning about boundaries and staying in their comfort zone. Yep. Taurus North Node people are learning to define their own values and to proceed step by step to achieve their goals. Taurus North Node people are overcoming an unhealthy concern with other people's business and their tendency to be judgmental. And Taurus and North Node people are learning how to stop activating crisis in their lives. So stop being in drama. Yes. It's just very interesting. So based upon that information, excuse me, my camera kind of went out because I have it standing on something. So excuse me if it moved a little bit. But from what I gather from the things that I have read, maybe in a past life, I abused power, possibly. In a past life, I was probably connected to power in some way, like a queen, or in a court, I was connected to like the royal court in some way, shape, or form. And my livelihood depended on that. Like, it depended on that. So that's where that validation comes from, or not having clear boundaries, like your livelihood dependent on other people. Like, if, like, for example, maybe being an astrologist, because, you know, there was astrology back then. So maybe being an astrologist or a reader for the king or the queen or whatever, and my livelihood depended on that. Or maybe being the queen to a king, or vice versa, whatever. I can tell that in my past life, I definitely, there was power struggles, because I think of Scorpio, it's a lot of that. And in this lifetime, I'm learning a lot about having clear boundaries with people, clear boundaries with myself. I'm learning how to have a quiet, peaceful life, staying out of the drama of others, not being in codependent relationships. And I'll talk about this a little bit in my sacred contracts, because I said one of my archetypes is the vampire. And that's all about codependency, and that's another story. You have to go to that particular video. But I'm learning more about what my values are, honoring those things, materializing things, building things, charging people. Like, for example, if you have a business, some people have a hard time charging people, or they undercharge. A lot of that has to do with self-worth. So that is linked to that too, like knowing my self-worth, knowing that I'm more than enough. There's just a lot of things that I see how much of an alignment I am with my North Node, and the things that I'm interested in, the things that I am connected to, the things that I'm gravitating towards, and how I'm starting to put myself more out there, And we are in an age where it's easier to connect with people online. And as an introvert person, it can be a real challenge to put yourself out there. But I have learned to utilize my voice more. I feel like my voice has gotten stronger. I'm more comfortable with expressing myself. I definitely was more quiet, more silent in my earlier years. There's a lot that I can go into detail with, and I don't want to make this video is already like 22 minutes long. But the point I wanted to make, I was using myself as an example, putting myself out there, and just that it's so important to learn more about the stars, learn more about astrology. It's not as far-fetched as some people may want to coin it as. It is a science, and it's very valuable. If you take the time to really delve into it, it's really valuable information, and it gives you insight on what your life purpose is. And it also gives you insight on those behaviors that need to be released. Because I find that sometimes when you are going through things, sometimes it's easier to tap back into the old ways of doing and being. And the North Node, South Node dynamics help me remember what path that I am supposed to be on. The way of grace. The key is the way of grace. The goal is to develop ease of living and movement, culture and elegance. So that's all that I wanted to share for now. If you want to connect with me on Instagram, you can follow me at Infinitenature #1, Tumblr at Infinitenature, Facebook at Infinitenature, and Twitter at Infinitenature #1. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.